studies. Oh, well, wait a minute. Without this, I am nothing.
You just go like this. So easy. Catherine's got your cell phone's off, right? Shabbat Shalom. Let's try that again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Ah, that's much better, much better. Nothing like having warmth in the synagogue when it's cold outside. So tonight is a night we have been waiting for a while, and those who are on the ritual committee have been waiting for even longer. So I'm just going to welcome, you'll hear a more proper introduction from Aviv, but first I want to welcome our guest, Jew from Oklahoma, Mark Klein. We are so happy that you...
Reuben.
Did I say Klein? Oh my gosh. Where did that? I'm sorry, Aviv, and I'm sorry, Mark. Linda Klein. The Bima guest is Linda Klein. I can only remember one last name at a time. I am so sorry, Mark. Forgive me, and you forgive me. So let's start over. I am so excited to welcome Jew of Oklahoma, Mark Rubin. Yay. Yeah, it's great to have you here, and we're lucky that despite, some not great weather, you're still here. So that's awesome. Aviv and Mark are friends, so that's why we have the opportunity to hear from Mark this weekend. And Mark will be leading us in music this evening. Our Bima guest is Linda Klein, our engagement team leader, and we have Lori Kaplan streaming services tonight. So without further ado, we are going to join together on page 10 with the singing of Hine Matov, how great it is when we come together as brothers and sisters.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Thank you, Aviv. We're going to continue on page 3 as Linda Klein does a reading on page 3 and then lights the Shabbat candles on page 2. Stole my mic.
Can I just do this?
Yeah.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are going to continue on page 10 with the singing of Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
On page 28, we find the Baruch Hu, or call to worship. I invite everyone to rise either physically or in spirit for the Baruch Hu. And Harper, I invite you up to open the ark for us.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu es Adonai. Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Ba'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Ba'ed.
Please be seated. We're going to continue on page 30 with our blessing for the evening, for creation, when the light turns to darkness, until the morning when the darkness will once again turn to light. Page 30, we join together in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla. Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. On page 32, we find Ahavat Olam, and we join together with Aviv.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, V'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, V'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Nege yomam v'layla, V'ahavatcha al tasir, Mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Please rise physically or in spirit for Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. And we continue together on page 36 with the chanting of Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uveshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leod al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kadoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, leot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, emet.
We continue responsively in the middle of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
High heavens declare your glory. The earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages.
Time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. They shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
And if we do continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace, then more people will be able to be redeemed the way our ancestors were at the shores of the sea. As we join together commemorating that event, page 40, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Eli anu ve'amru Adonai imlok le'olam va'ed.
The three pillars of Judaism are creation, redemption, and revelation. When we say in the evening, Ma'ariv Aravim, our blessing for creation, we remind ourselves of God creating the world. When we chant Mi Chamocha, we remind ourselves of redemption, that second pillar, that second cornerstone, so to speak, of our tradition, freedom from bondage. And then the third is revelation, receiving the Torah. And when we sang together Ahavat Olam, when our words speak of God giving us the gift of Torah, we have found a way to remind ourselves of these three significant events in the world, but that God did, and in our relationship to God. We're going to continue on page 43. We know Hashkivenu is said only in the evening when we ask God to watch over us as night falls. Let us join together in the middle of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. On page 44, we'll join together in the singing of Yismechu, reminding ourselves that Shabbat really is a delight, and it's the most precious of all days of creation.
You didn't bring the tambourine. Oh, Lord, I don't know if I could do this. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Mekadashei, Mekadashei Shavi Shabbat, Kulam Yispeu Ve'yitan Gubitu Vecha Shabbat, Yismeru B'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat, Yismeru B'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Rashi Ratzito bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Chemdat Yamim, Oto karata Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat.
I liked all the participatory clapping, and some people were doing, I don't know what's
And
the
I
right-
needed it, thank you.
That was nice. All right. So now we come to Tefillah, also known as Amidah, the standing prayer. So we are going to continue on page 46 And then when we turn the pages, we're only going to be on the even number pages. So I invite you to rise physically or in spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. We're going to continue on the bottom of page 57. Last week during services, we talked a little bit about being religious or observant versus being spiritual. And some of us put ourselves into one category or the other. Some found ourselves as both. And so this paragraph here, I really feel the one that we're about to read together, it's certainly it's part of our religion. Avodah is one of the benedictions of the Amidah. But it's also very much a reading that talks about being spiritual, about feeling God's presence. So I hope that in one way or another, that you will relate to this passage as we read together the middle of 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bi'yara na'avod. The top of page 59 is the Hoda'ah. It's our prayer for Thanksgiving, which also is a benediction that's part of the Amidah. So I'm going to invite everyone to turn to someone next to you, behind you, near you. It could be a group of 2 or 3, and share something at this moment that you are grateful for, something that you are thankful for. Because no matter what we're going through, if we look, we will always find something to be grateful for. We'll take a few seconds for this. So I'm so glad that there's so much to talk about, so much goodness. And as we wrap up, Aviv is going to start playing Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Ulo Shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov ve'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
At this time, we call to mind our loved ones who are in need of prayers of healing. Tonight, our prayers are with Sherry Davies, Leah Dolman, Malia Willis, Judy Yesowich, Lev Dickerman, Carla Dunbar, Sandy Hall, John Lermit, Nash Zaid, Fran Diamond, Ricky Haynes, Robbie Haynes, Rich Goldwyn, Jim Todd, Madeline Scarborough, Sharon Pratt, Janet Naamani, Steve Duval. I invite you to say the names of your loved ones aloud if you'd like them to keep us in our prayers as my eyes meet yours.
Leah Bowles.
We keep our loved one in our prayers and join together in our prayer for healing, which can be found in the middle of page 253.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Tefillat Halev, the prayers of our own heart.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. About 6 years ago, 4 out of the 6 members of Lost Tribe went to klezmer camp for klezmer musicians in the foothills of the Catskills. So we were, I guess, in the motherland. And, you know, just a couple of miles from Woodstock, New York. But at any rate, in Lost Tribe, I'm basically the guy with the Americana background, country blues and old-time music and what have you. And I go there. I already knew Henry, what's his Sapoznik. I couldn't remember his last name for a second, who was one of the godfathers of the klezmer revival. So, and he was, I guess, the head dude there. And this camp is run by a guy named Jay Unger. You might know him for that fiddle tune that went on. What was it called? Ashokan's Farewell. That was, and so, well, I meet this guy. Now, I'm the guitar player and of Lost Tribe. Well, my personal instructor for what I was interested in was Mark, who happens to be a multi-instrumentalist. I mean, this man plays stand-up bass, tuba, guitar, banjo, mandolin family instruments, all equally well. So I was jealous already. But the thing was, we were there for about 3 or 4 days. The instruction I received fundamentally changed the way I played in Lost Tribe. I learned that much. And I probably, of all the members of Lost Tribe, got the most out of it. Now, it's not just in klezmer. In the Americana world, Mark is quite well known. He was a member of a legendary band called the Bad Livers with a monster banjo player named Danny Barnes. When I saw Mark, all of a sudden, I realized who it was, because I knew about Bad Livers. I was just absolutely amazed. The only other experience I had like that was a mandolinist named Barry Mitterhoff, who we brought here for Klezmer Fest. He played with Margot, and then a month later, I see that guy playing with Hot Tuna, which had Jack and Yorma from Jefferson Airplane. So, I mean, this is how seismic this was for me. I have been, ever since I got back, I have wanted to bring Mark here because his stuff is amazing. And the stuff he can play swing, he can play early jazz, he can play blues, he can play old-timey, he can play klezmer. He's just one of those guys, and he has worked as a studio musician, has been on a bunch of recordings. And he has another hat, because he lives in New Orleans now. And he's going to talk to us a bit about the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience, which was another reason I wanted to bring him here. So I'm going to stop talking and let him talk. So this is Mark Rubin.
Oh, thank you, Evie. I appreciate you so much. Howdy, friends and neighbors. My name is Mark Rubin. They call me, my professional stage name is Jew of Oklahoma, which leaves no doubt to where I am from. How come it is that I got to be from Oklahoma? A little closer to the mic there? Okay. I'm so bombastic, usually they have no problem hearing me. There we go. I'll speak right into this microphone. The question is, sometimes people ask how come it is that I got to be a Jewish person from Oklahoma? It's a fair question. And I will tell you right now, I'm a first-generation Southern Jew, and so everyone goes, of course, yeah, his folks are from back east, right? No, my folks are from Arizona. We owned a ranch and a silver mine out that way, and so we are a diasporic people, as it turns out. So I am a musician. I'm a Southern American musician. I've been playing bluegrass and country music my whole life, but I've also been teaching Jewish Yiddish music. We like to call it Yiddish music, but y'all call it klezmer music for a long time now. There's a long, complex story about that, which I'll tell you at the show if you come to the show. But we're not going to talk about that today. What we're going to talk about today is my day job. And I want to preface what I'm going to say right now by saying that I need to frame all of my comments by telling you that I in no way formally represent the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience. I do not formally represent them in any way. I just work there. So I'm going to give you my impressions of the place. Now, as long as Europeans have come to these shores, there have been Jewish people amongst them. There was a fellow named Joachim Gans who came with the Roanoke experiment. And where did he come? They came to Virginia. So that's the South, friends and neighbors. What did you know that the largest Jewish community in the United States was in 1825? Where was that? That was in Charleston. Yeah, you would think. It was in Charleston, friends and neighbors. There was the South is where the largest Sephardic population in America. originally came. And those folks have been in the Americas as early as the 1600s. And so even I, who have long roots in Southern Jewry, when I first walked into the doors of this brand new museum in New Orleans, I literally walked in, and my conceptions about what the Jews of the South and who they were and how they came to America and how they integrated into America, those preconceptions were blown away. Now, I will frame again by saying that this museum is located in New Orleans, Louisiana, so if you get a chance to come down there, it's located not too terribly far from the World War II Museum, right next to this monument that we used to have to this Confederate general fella who never once set foot in New Orleans city limits. And they actually, you know, we took him off the top of this very tall post, and they were wondering what to call the place. And we Jewish people, we were just going to call it Circumcision Square. They didn't go for it. But that's where you'll find us, friends. We tell the story of the first wave of immigration, of the first traders who came in from places like Recife in Brazil, and places like Kingston, Jamaica, and places who followed the Sephardic Jews who followed the trade routes and came to places like Charleston and Richmond and New Orleans. We tell the story of the Code Noir. Are you familiar with the Code Noir? That places like Louisiana, in New Orleans, where I am, labored under something called the Code Noir. The Catholics, New France, behaved much differently than their Protestant English neighbors. They saw race as being something different. Race and religion were different. That there wasn't just black and white, that there were shades in between. But the Code Noir said that everyone who lived under their control had to be Catholic. So when the French were in charge, they had another thing they called laissez-faire, which meant they didn't care just as long as you paid your taxes and kept your head down. But when the King of France and the King of Napoleon got together and changed hands and gave New Orleans back to the Spanish, well, the Spanish were not so nice about it. And there was a certain fellow, a guy named Isaac Monsanto, who had made a fortune for himself. In fact, by 1793, he became the most wealthy person in all of New Orleans. He was the singular Jewish man who lived there, Isaac Monsanto. And in 1793, guess what else happened? The Spanish took over New Orleans and enforced the Code Noir. Took all of his money, kicked him out of town, and he died nearly penniless in Florida. The good news is when the French came back, his children came back and reestablished their fortune and went on to form a chemical company. Are you familiar with have you heard the name Monsanto? Yeah, the family ended up doing pretty well for himself. Southern Jews, for instance. Are you familiar with the Galveston experiment? You know, hands up here, who is a Southern-born Jew in the room here? Really? All right. The story of those Jews who came and populated these small towns and all places like Sunshine, Mississippi, and places like Johnson City, Tennessee, and the merchant classes that built up these little small towns and all these little rural villages and all these railroad crossings and all of these farm-to-market towns. We tell the story of the Galveston experiment where 10,000 folks came through this one little port town in Texas. They called it the Ellis Island of the South. And we talk about all the folks that came through there rather than going through Ellis Island. The idea is that Ellis Island, the moment you got off the boat in Ellis Island, a Jewish person could, within hours, find another Jewish person. They could speak Yiddish to them. Then they could take them to the Jewish part of the Jewish ghetto, and then they could go down to Hester Street, and then they could find a place, and then they could then almost recreate their shtetl life. They could find a rabbi, they could find a shoshet, they could find a mikveh. They could find all of these things almost recreating their Jewish life. However, they were packed into these ghettos, with backbreaking labor and no chance for advancement. And also the neighbors seeing the ghettos packed up with people, thinking them this invading horde, and this idea of anti-Semitism fostering. So the idea of the Galveston experiment was to take Jewish people and have them circumvent New York entirely and bring them all the way to Galveston, away from as many Jews as they possibly could, and try and get them to assimilate as quickly as they possibly could by finding them work and setting them off in this starting from this port town in Galveston, Texas. We tell this and many, many, many other stories. It's an artifact after artifact after artifact, from the good to the bad and everything in between. For instance, we address Jewish participation in both chattel slavery and in the Civil War, and we do so with a very clear eye. For instance, telling the story of Judah Benjamin. Is anyone familiar with Judah Benjamin? Oh boy. We also tell the story of Leo Frank. These are folks I'll be talking about in my show tomorrow night, so do please have a chance to come on out. But I will not belabor or tell you any more, but I just want to once again make a pitch. Everybody comes to New Orleans. It's one of the great cities on earth. You should come and visit before it sinks beneath the waves. Don't laugh. We'd love to see you. It's an incredibly Jewish city. Tulane University is the most Jewish per capita institution in the United States, more so than Brandeis University, outside of a yeshiva. It's incredible. It's for a town that only has one kosher restaurant. We have, for a town that's only got 11,000 Jews, we have 2 JCCs. Why? Because you have the one you go to and the one you don't set foot in. Come on, you know the joke. Right. So we'd love to see you down there in New Orleans. If you come to the museum, I work at the front. I also docent. It would be my consummate pleasure for you to be my guest, and one of the great joys of my life. Look, growing up a little Jewish kid in the South, going back east and meeting folks from back east, and they go, "Oi, there's Jews in Oklahoma?" And having to explain myself over and over and over again. And now there's this beautiful museum, and I go, yeah, and we're Southern Jews, and this is our life. Please come and visit. So would you please come and visit? Thank you so much.
Shabbat Shalom. Bear with me, I have a lot of announcements here. Shabbat services tomorrow are at 10:30. And for those who RSVP'd, we have dinner at 6 tomorrow, followed by a concert by Mark Rubin, the Jew of Oklahoma. I hope you all are going to be coming, and tell your friends. Temple Shalom is sponsoring Hanukkah on Ice on Wednesday, December 17th from 6 to 9 at the Alpine Ice Arena on Gardner Lane. I went last year and it was a lot of fun. It had been a long time since I ice skated. Temple Shalom's Hanukkah celebration services and Hanukkah dinner will start at 6:30 on Friday, December 19th. Please join us for the lighting of the menorahs and bring your own add to our light and joy. And please RSVP by December 15th to Slava if you have not already. There is no charge for dinner, so we need to know how many people are coming. Members of our congregation will be making latkes and drinking bourbon. Contact John Soletto if you can help out. And that same night, we will be saying thank you to and farewell to Slava, who is, that will be her last night. So please join us for that. Watts will hold the Hanukkah dinner and party at Kalen's Restaurant this coming Tuesday. And if you, it's probably too late to RSVP. But anyway, yes. Chinese dinner, Shabbat, will be held Friday, December 26th at 5:30. Each congregant can order a dinner from the menu posted in this week's e-blast and send your orders to John Soletto. We have holiday hours during the last 2 weeks of the year, and you can check the e-blast for those specific office hours. We're in year 3 of our Kadima campaign. Once again, a generous and anonymous donor has offered to match our first $75,000. We're close, but we really need your help to reach our goal and unlock that match. It would be a shame to give that up. So please don't forget to do that. Temple Shalom will take part in the annual December 25th visit to Maryhurst, which is a residential organization for girls. If you are interested, and we do still need volunteers, please contact Lee. Let's see. Hebrew class is happening on Wednesdays. Please, if you're taking that class, open up both emails from the rabbi. It's a lot of fun. More details about all these events can be found in our weekly e-blast. And if you're not receiving our weekly e-blast and would like to, please contact LaTanya to get added to our list. Thank you for leading us in music, Aviv, and thank Mark Rubin for being here. And thank you to Lori for streaming services tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you, of course, Mark as well. I just wanted to say that Mark, as you know, the museum started on the grounds of the Henry S. Jacobs Camp, and the year that it opened, I actually was working at Henry S. Jacobs Camp, so I was at the opening, and it was the initial founder of that, the brainstorm was Macy Hart, along with some others. What?
He's a Sonic.
He's amazing, amazing man. And we also have another congregant who's not here right now, but who also attended Henry S. Jacobs Camp and was also there that summer that it opened. So for a number of years, the camp was literally on the grounds of one of our URJ camps in Utica, Mississippi. And more people definitely have the opportunity to see it now in New Orleans, so maybe we can plan a congregational trip and we can go down there. So something to think about. Okay. Tonight after services, we have a lovely oneg, members of our congregation baked. So please stick around, not only for Kedusha Motzi, which we'll do in the auditorium, but for amazing goodies. I saw them, and they're, like, amazing. So please stick around. Okay, we are going to continue on page 282, the middle of the page, as we rise physically or in spirit for Elena Lishabeach. Harper, do you want to come on up and open the ark one more time for us? Because you did such a good job the first time. I know you'll do a great job the second time, too.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'tei gdula le'otzer b'reshit, shel sanu kugoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kibishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegoraleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
284.
Shehu notet shamayim ve'yosei haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim b'ma'al, u'shchinatu zo begovei meromim, hu Eloheinu Eino, emet malkeinu efer zulato, kakatu b'torato, yadata hayom v'hashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, bashamayim b'ma'al, ve'al haaretz, mitachat einot.
287. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. Please have a seat. I wanted to thank everyone who participated in our Panera fundraiser this past Wednesday night. We had at least 60 people that we know of, which was really awesome. And we are hoping to go back there in January on a Wednesday night. As soon as the date is finalized, we will let folks know. Not only did it help raise some funds for our congregation, it was just a really great time to be together as a community. We don't only have to connect in this building, so people had a great time. We had a whole little section. So I want to thank Ed Gould for working things out at the Panera on Dutchman's Lane. Again, more information will be forthcoming, but our hope is to do this once a month and, again, raise some money, but also just come together, be together, and connect. Aviv is going to take it away with our next piece.
Now, some of you know this, some of you don't, but all you're responsible for is the chorus. And it's the Mississippi Fred McDowell song, You Got to Move. And the only thing you're responsible for is you got to move, you got to move, you got to move, child, you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, you got to move. You got to move, you got to move, you got to move, child, you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You might be high, you might be low. You might be rich, child, you might be poor, but when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move, You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You see that person, she's walking the streets. See the policeman, he's walking his beat. But when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, you got to move. One more time. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. But when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. Y'all did great.
The other night I spoke with a couple of parents that are that have young kids, and I mean like the oldest is 4, but it doesn't have to be that young. And the moms were all interested in trying to do something here with the real little ones, either Thursday or Friday afternoon, a little Shabbat thing. So if you know someone who has a young child or someone has a grandchild with really young ones, let me know or let them know, because they're welcome to come to Temple Shalom and do a little pre-Shabbat Shabbat experience. Not a big no shush, but nonetheless something for the real little ones. So again, if you know someone that might be interested, member or not, our doors are open. Also, when you go in the the auditorium, you're going to see Hanukkah decorations, because when is the first night of Hanukkah? Sunday night, Sunday. The calendars will say Monday, but that's the first day. And we know that every holiday starts at sundown, which means day 1 of Hanukkah is Monday, which means we light the first candle Sunday at sundown. All right, without a further ado, if you are here to recite Kaddish for a loved one, you are invited to rise when their name is read aloud. Tonight we remember Gussie Roth, Charles Saletto, Isidore E. Sticker, Bert H. Wexler, Luba Brudner, Jack Satin, Myron Sharp, Leo Fader, Miriam Fleischman, Isidore Friedman, Albert Horrell, Henry Michael, Robert E. Steinman, Helen Bass, Ann Kuhn, Howard Schulman, and we're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Kenneth Kral. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may they rest in peace as we rise together as a congregation, reciting the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma devarach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayehon uvyomehon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'yimeru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say together, amen. Please be seated. Our concluding song this evening is Ki Eshmerah Shabbat, and it can be found on page 330. Page 330, bottom of the page.
Again, some of you have done this. This is about the last thing my voice is going to handle. This is actually a Sephardic tune, and which is interesting because we do it in a lost tribe, but we do a few Sephardic tunes, although we don't claim to be Sephardic musicians. Ki Eshmerah Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti le'ol me'ad Beino uveni Ki Eshmerah Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti le'ol me'ad Beino uveni Ki Eshmerah Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti le'ol me'ad Beino uveni Ki Eshmerah Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti le'ol me'ad Beino uveni. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Turn to someone near you and wish them Shabbat Shalom too.
My grandmother used to sing.
Get to is Letvish. Ripple is Galician.
Oh, but she was Ukrainian.
Well, that's Letvish.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
It depends on what part of Europe. North or south?